Hey, internet friends, just a reminder that the information in this podcast is of a general nature only and does not take into account your personal situation and objectives. Before making a financial decision, you should consult with your financial advisor. Enjoy the show.
Hey, internet friends, welcome back to Live Richly, and this is an emergency pod, a quick pod. Even my co-host doesn't know what we're talking about today. Hey, Pence, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man? I have no idea what is going on. But hello, podcast world. We are dialing in.
Alright, man. Alright, so this is gonna be quick. Okay, our past pods have been about 40 minutes. We're gonna try to get this done in 15-20 minutes because it's late on a Friday night. We both have better things to be doing, but we have to talk about the most topical topic, or the most topical thing happening in the world right now: GameStop.
Oh, yep. I've been reading about. Well, not even reading. I've been hearing about it. But so what's going on? Basically, it feels like it's Wall Street versus the world, man.
Dude, we're doing a deep dive. So if anyone out there who's interested in knowing what's happening with this whole GameStop thing, share this pod with anyone who you think might be interested in learning more. But okay, so this is what's happening, right? So okay, you know what shorting is. We have to start off by understanding what shorting is. When you short
shorting
a stock.
is when you believe a stock is going to fall in value. Is that right?
Yeah. That's exactly correct.
Ah, cool.
So shorting, right? So shorting is a 4-step process, right? So the step one is, let's say you think Apple's going to tank, right? So you would borrow Apple shares, and by borrowing Apple shares, you literally just call your broker or go into your brokerage account and put in a short position instead of going. So if you're buying a stock, you're going long. If you're selling a short, you're going short.
Yep.
Right? So you'd put in a short. You'd borrow shares, right? Then as soon as you borrow those shares, you sell them again at the market, back at the market. Then you'd go back to the market. If the stock does go down, you go back to the market, buy those exact same shares at the lower price.
Yep.
Return the shares that you'd borrowed, and then the difference you'd make that's the profit that you make. That's the premium that you're making.
Ah, okay, yeah, all right. I'm with you. Yep.
Right. So there's borrowing, selling. It's like pretty much like you borrow and then you sell, and then you borrow and then you sell, and you borrow and then you sell. Like that's the whole concept behind it. So the first problem with short selling, right, is this whole thing where you're borrowing these shares that you don't own.
Okay. Yep.
So it's very important that you understand that concept.
You don't own the shares. Okay. So, all right.
Okay. All right. So let's go back now into what's happening with GameStop. So with GameStop, GameStop is pretty much, if you're in Australia, GameStop
EB Games?
is the EB Games of Australia.
Yeah.
Right. They sell physical products in a digital world.
Yep.
Now, and with the new consoles that are coming out, you don't really need the disc, right?
Yep.
You can download the games. You don't need to, that whole trade second-hand market is going to disappear because you don't really need that GameStop to be the intermediary. Maybe you can probably sell your own games to your other friends or something like that. I don't know how it's going to work in that space. So because pretty much the economics of this business don't make sense anymore in a digital world, they are brick and mortar in a digital space, right? They're physical stores where their entire business model can be done digitally.
Yep.
Right? So people are like, you know what? The hedge funds have done their research. They're looking at this thing and they're like, there's no way this business makes sense. There's no way this business is going to survive. It's going to go to zero.
Okay. Yep.
So last year, it was at $3. Right? Around the beginning of last year, it was $3 a share.
Yeah. So this is kind of like Netflix versus Video Easy or something, right?
Similar. It's not really Netflix. It's pretty much just understanding where the world is going, and the future of entertainment is not going to be. You don't need a brick and mortar store.
Okay, gotcha.
To sell the stuff that this business sells, right?
Well, I,
So,
I have a
Wall Street.
PS5 disc edition, so I don't know what you're saying, man. But let's keep it going.
No, because you can have a PS5
Mm.
disc edition, but like I'm assuming so. But ongoing
Mm.
down like the future of the space, do you need to buy the physical discs if you can just download a game onto
Fair
your
enough.
computer? I mean, onto your PlayStation.
Well, the argument, the
in my
arguments to be
case, like-
made. Like the arguments to be made.
Okay, the argument. Okay, fine. So the general market consensus is that
Uh-huh.
this stock
It's
is
garbage. You're right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Right? Right. So the stock, right, gets shorted to 140% of its value,
Wow. Okay.
right? 100%. No, sorry, let me rephrase. It gets shorted 140 times the number of shares on the market,
Okay.
right? Because multiple people are shorting the stock. So there's a lot of like that what I was saying before, they are buying it. I mean, they're borrowing and then they are selling, borrowing and selling, borrowing and selling. So you can get to a point where there are more shorts in the market than the actual number of shares that are
Okay.
owned,
Yep.
right? And that's usually an indication of what the Wall Street or the street's sentiment on how a company is going to perform. So I think they were like the most shorted stock at 138% of the shares they had on issue were shorted.
Dang. All right.
Right?
Yep. Yep.
All right, cool. So we're there, right? So some guys on the what's called they're called degenerates. They call themselves degenerates on this forum on Reddit or the subreddit called Wall Street Bets,
Mhm.
right? So some people post on that site that they believe that Wall Street has oversold the stock. It's not going to go to zero,
Okay. Yeah.
right? And they think there's value in this
Okay.
stock,
Yeah.
right? That Wall Street's wrong. So they bet against it. So there's this one guy called, I think it's called Deep F in Value. I'm not going to say the F word because this is what this needs to be
Yeah.
a clean pod. But Deep F in Value, he puts in I think like 50K of his entire net worth into
Whoa.
GameStop.
Okay. He buys.
GameStop, right?
He buys $50,000
he-
worth of shares. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's like calls, but this is just called shares.
Okay.
If it's not explaining calls, it's going to be a
Okay,
long ass
yeah.
pod. So he goes long. Let's just say he goes long
Yeah.
50K, right? So enter the hedge funds. So his research is up already on the subthread, but Wall Street doesn't pay attention to it, right? They don't really pay attention to it. So there's this research company or this hedge fund, which is a bit of market manipulation, because what short sellers do, which is a bit unethical, but a bit necessary as well, and I'll explain why it's necessary, is that they will go short a stock,
Yep.
right? Then they'll write a research report or publish their research and publish it to the market to explain why this company should be sold short.
Which makes
Why
other
this
people
company
think
is
that they should
worthless.
short the stock.
Yes, then the company's price.
That's
Tanks.
rubbish, man.
So it's kind of like so it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're saying this is garbage, but you're gonna benefit from telling people that
Yeah.
it's garbage.
Okay. Yeah.
Right?
I'm with you. Yeah. So what happened, man?
Yeah. So these guys come up with their whole thing, blah blah blah. They publish their paper. They're out there campaigning. Got the marketing machine behind them saying this thing is garbage, right? This company isn't worth it. But then, like, if you actually look, which I don't feel like a lot of the mainstream media is just focusing on the point that these guys are millennial Gen Z investors who are just home because the US is in lockdown
Yep.
at the moment, some states. So we were just at home, they're getting their $2,000 stimulus checks and they have no idea what they're doing, they're just gambling. But if you actually look at the research or what this guy is saying, there is a lot of stuff that makes fundamental sense to his point, is because his research is pretty much saying their online sales increased by 390%,
Yep.
right? And then they've got this new guy who's come onto the board, this kind of activist who was in an e-commerce business, who now owns 12% of the stock and who's got 3 board seats and is now positioning the company to kind of turn it around.
Okay. As in
Right?
you as in to become digital as opposed to brick and mortar.
maybe like a digital, maybe like a brick and mortar space as well, but with a more stronger focus on digital, but just to like revamp the business, right? So that's what this guy is saying. That there is the fundamentals of the business and is wrong as as the market is saying. These hedge funds are wrong, right? So the hedge funds guys are making a big row, they're dismissing them because what people on this subreddit start doing is they start buying GameStop. So it goes from 3 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 20, right? So the Wall Street guys are seeing this. Some of the Wall Street guys are seeing this, and they're like, what are these people doing? This makes no sense. So they double down on their shorts because they're like, okay, we were because pretty much when you short a stock, all you can do is double the money. That's the max. That's the max return you can get.
So how much money did the Wall Street short? Like how much did they pump into these shit?
They put
billions.
there was billions of money. There was billions of money floating around. If you add up all the different funds, right, that were involved in this. Anyway, so where am I in this?
So people started buying more shares, right? Or what? More call options.
Yeah, right. So it's not. It's So it goes up to 20. It goes up to 20, like 20 bucks, whatever. And that's what you have to understand also about the people who are buying GameStop, right? Because they're using Robinhood, and Robinhood
trading
is
app,
a trading app,
okay,
right? In the States, that charges no brokerage. That's why a lot of young people like using it because they don't pay fees. But I'll explain why that's important later on, because Robinhood actually comes out as a bit of a bad guy as well. In the story.
Flip. All right.
So but then the thing about buying on Robinhood is you can trade on leverage, right? Which means you can borrow, you can take positions that are more than the money that so you could put in $10, but you get an exposure to, let's say, 1,000.
Wow. Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're using leveraged positions. So because there are a whole bunch of them on this forum who are buying GameStop, right? Who are buying GameSpot stock or options in GameStop and GameSpot. And because they're using leverage, they essentially have the same buying power or the same sort of weight
as Wall
behind
Street
them as the hedge funds do.
Right?
Right. So the smart people who are on this forum are now speculating that there's going to be a short squeeze.
And what does that mean?
Right? And the short squeeze, for all of us who don't watch Billions, there's actually an episode on Billions about a short squeeze. But this is like probably a real life case of a short squeeze happening. So, okay. So what happens is, because when you go short a stock, right? You're borrowing that stock, right? And then you're borrowing and then you're selling it. So when you borrow it, you just don't borrow all of it. Like you have to put in some equity, you have to put in some funds, right? Behind it, right? So that's the first thing. So because all these hedge funds, they obviously have, so it costs them money to open these short positions. So they open the short positions. So when the stock goes up, right, they are effectively now losing money. Right? Because they make money when the stock goes down, but when the stock does the inverse and goes up, they start losing money. Right? So what happens there is there's this thing called like a margin call, where let's say they had to put 50% down on their short position as like actual cash. The institutions who they are borrowing the funds from will say, hey, this is going up, so you guys have to cover that difference, because you guys are saying it's going to go down, but it's going up, so you have to cover it, right? You have to put in more
liquidity. In your position. Yeah,
in your position. So that's why it's a really dangerous way of trading if you're inexperienced, because when the trade moves up against you, if you're long and the stock goes, starts going down, you can kind of you just have to hold. You can buy more and leverage down, but then with when you short, you have to keep topping up. So you keep you keep topping up, keep topping up to prevent getting that margin.
So this is why billions of dollars was going in, because
No. Listen, the squeeze is coming
Oh,
soon.
right,
The
right,
squeeze is
okay,
coming
okay.
soon. So when the stock price is now going up, right? They have to cover themselves, right? So the way they cover themselves is their main bet is that the stock is going to go down, but the stock is going up. They will then buy the stock to mitigate that movement.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
You get what I mean? Right? But if you have a whole bunch of people who are buying the stock and not selling and keep buying and not selling, which is what the Wall Street guys, the Wall Street bets guys are doing, because they just keep buying it and keep buying it and keep buying it. But Wall Street, for them, because the price keeps going up, for them to cover their short position, they need to buy as well.
Yeah.
So what does that
It
do
goes
to the
up,
price?
right?
So now it's going up even more because they have to keep covering. So the price keeps going up and up and up. So that's how it goes up like I think 900% in 10 days, because they now need to cover their short position. But because there's a shortage of, because they're borrowing shares, right, for their shorts. But because but then for you to borrow those, they have to be available on the market. But if the market isn't selling, there's now a shortage of games of the.
So what? It becomes super valuable.
Then the price keeps going up. The price keeps going up. So that's when the short squeeze now starts coming through. Because how long can you stay liquid? How long can you keep? Because if the price keeps going up, you're gonna keep getting called. The margin calls are gonna keep coming in. So you're gonna need to start topping up cash and topping up and topping up.
What happened, man?
So that's when you effectively either have to just bite the bullet and lose the position, or just cut.
And you don't get any money back. Any money that you've put in.
You lose your. I think like the fund that started this all was Melvin Capital, because they're the ones who did the initial research paper, and they're the ones who were the main target of these people. They lost. I think they actually had to call in. Because hedge funds are seeded by other hedge funds, bigger hedge funds, seed smaller hedge funds, right? Because it's pretty much like they're in the idea business. So they had to give them money for them to stay afloat. Otherwise, it was going to go under.
Flip, man. So the hedge fund was going down, is what you're saying?
No. Some hedge funds went down because some hedge funds were copying this trade. So they now were going down, right? So now now the mainstream media is focusing on this thread, and then the people in the thread are just incensed by the way the media is covering them.
Right.
So now they start buying more and more and more, and now getting like a bit of organization behind them. So like, hey, this is what we're doing. It's now a bit more coordinated.
Right. So it's not like insider trading, right? Because this is the public just talking to each other, saying, hey, this is what we're doing, right?
See, that's the thing now. That's when the politics is coming into it. So what happened, I think like yesterday, is that on Robinhood and on other brokers, you couldn't trade the GameSpot stock anymore.
How?
They were stopping the market from buying it because it was going up so fast.
But who's right? Who's right? Why can't they just stop it like that?
See, that's the thing now. That's what people are saying. Like, hey, if the Wall Street guys are doing this, if the Wall Street guys are taking advantage of the little guy, they get bailed out, a la GFC. Yeah. But now you've got the little guys who figured out that Wall Street stuffed up. They were overshot this position,
and we are coming for them, right? Yeah.
And we are coming for them.
So how can you buy? So can you still? Where can you buy stock? A game?
No. So now I think because the backlash was like intense, because I think
who got sued, man?
I think a lawsuit was lodged. Robinhood.
Really?
Because they blocked it, right? Yeah. And then there's a lawsuit. I think like a 10 million lawsuit, because people are saying, you're preventing us from earning. You're stopping us from earning. I can't remember the technical term is, but they got sued. Then a few hours later, they're like, we're going to start limited trading again. Because it moved because it was on GameSpot first, and then it moved to AMC, which is AMC is like
like movie theaters.
Hoyts or the
Yeah, so people
Phoenix
started buying.
Cinemas
People
movie
started buying
theaters,
AMC
right?
because there was a short position on that as well.
Yeah. So they were now targeting these hedge funds that are these big, because now I think now the smaller guys have realized that if they band together, they can
They can
squeeze
squeeze any
any
yeah,
of these big guys that are in
yeah,
short
of course,
positions,
yeah,
right? So this is now like a
yeah.
strategy.
So it's like a war. It's like a war, right?
And it's intense. But then wait, it gets deeper. So today they moved on to, I don't know if you know about Dogecoin,
No,
DOGE.
no.
It's a crypto. It was started like as a joke. It's like a joke.
And there was a short
cryptocurrency,
position on that.
right?
Or what? Okay.
No. I don't know. I don't know why, but I don't know why the focus moved from GameSpot to this crypto
Yeah.
token. This crypto, it's not like I believe there is value in digital assets down the track, but this token was just started as
Okay.
a joke. Someone just saying these things are garbage. I can start one and it will be bad valuable, and it was named Dogecoin. And its logo is a picture of a dog. Anyone wants to look it up? DOGECOIN.
Yeah.
Right? And then it went up. So in the morning, someone may send me a message saying, "This is how you know that something is euphoric." Someone just sent me a text saying Dogecoin ! I look it up. It's up 80%. This is like around 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Then I'm talking to the people at work, and then one of the girls from work tells me her partner is looking at buying Dogecoin. Then I look it up. It's up 240 something
Whoa.
percent.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? Then by 4 p.m. By 4 p.m. today, Melbourne time, it was up over 800%.
What?
Yes, so they're now piling in to this Dogecoin. Some people bought it. I don't even know what happened there, but this is just a side story. So back to our main issue, right?
Yeah.
Our main story,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so there's some names that you're gonna need to remember. Citadel. Citadel is an important name that you need to understand. So here's what was happening because of this short squeeze that was happening in the market, right? So a few days ago, like 2 or 3 days ago, the market was down on average about 3%, 2%,
Yeah,
3%, which is a big movement, right? But the reason why the market was down was because these hedge funds, to cover their short positions, had to sell stocks that they were holding, like that.
Yeah.
To
provide money,
that liquidity. So now the market starts tanking because they have to now sell in large volume to cover these positions, right? And because the stock was moving up so fast, they just had to react and just start selling as much as they could. Yeah. So the market was tanking, right? But then when you start looking at who's actually benefiting from this, who is winning here,
Yep.
right? You have to look back at, okay, so Melvin Capital, the company that started all this, right, with their research paper, whatever, they were backed by Citadel. And Citadel is probably one of the biggest hedge funds in the US.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Right. Citadel, this is so weird. Okay, so Robinhood, okay, just remember Citadel for a second, right? Big hedge fund, back to Melvin Capital. Then you look at Robinhood, where all these guys are trading their stocks, right? They are trading for free, right? And remember what I've said to you before, like if you're using something and you're not paying for it,
You're the product.
You know that conversation about Instagram and Facebook and social media, like, hey, you're what's being sold. Right?
So what's the catch?
So
what's the catch here?
With the Robinhood, they make their bulk of their money from selling their order book to the hedge fund. So okay. Now we have to introduce high frequency trading.
Okay. Yeah.
So high frequency trading is when you kind of like where the market has if you're someone who believes that all the information in the market is available to everybody, right? So the edge, so that means your edge has to be how quickly you execute that information that everybody else
So
has.
basically, how you analyze the information, right? How quickly you analyze the information.
No, not even analyze. How quickly you buy and sell. The speed,
Right.
the milliseconds. We're talking about the advantages of having NBN and the advantages of having
Okay.
copper
Yeah.
wires,
Okay.
right? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about
Yeah.
now, right? So, Citadel, they are high frequency traders, right? And there's a really good book about high frequency trading. Probably one of the best books I've read about investing in a long time. But essentially, these guys invest, like they try to buy buildings that are a direct line as possible to the exchange, because if the signal if the copper wires are turn or whatever, it impedes the speed of the signal, and they're dealing in like milliseconds.
Flip. Okay. Yeah. So it's literally how fast you can trade, the speed at which you can trade, the data.
The speed at which the data is
Okay.
being transferred, right? That's
Yeah.
high. I mean, it's a complicated process, but that's essentially like the quick version of it. So, Robinhood, they sell. So let's say you place a bet, you place an order on Robinhood, right? Robinhood sells that information to Citadel. So Citadel knows
What?
where your order is going, and they go in before you and execute a trade. So by the time your order goes in, you're paying more. So they go in and they're like buying and selling, buying and
Okay.
selling. But
Oh,
they're
right.
going
So
in-
let's say good old me is loving using Robinhood for free, and I place an order on Robinhood. Citadel is sold that information by Robinhood and executes a trade before I can.
so by the time you buy,
It's more, at a
now
higher
buying at a
price.
higher
Yeah.
price.
Okay. So are you about to tell me that Citadel made bank?
yes,
What?
because Citadel,
What?
right? Okay, Citadel is,
What are you saying, man? Hey, what are you telling me, man?
dude. I'm saying that these guys are out here trying to like crush.
But they're
the
getting
hedge funds,
played.
right? They're not getting played, but the way the game is set up, the way the system is set up,
You can't
win.
Oh my goodness.
right?
Oh my goodness.
So because Citadel's got the order book ahead of it. I mean, they have had to pump more money in to keep Melvin Capital
Yep.
going, but they can also be taking the long position side
If they
of
wanted
this
to.
trade
Yeah.
as well. If they want, because they've got that
Yeah.
information coming in, because they are a big investor in. They're buying the order book from Robinhood,
Holy.
right? And then Robinhood, when Robinhood shut the trading, people are like, wait a minute, let's look deeper into this. So Robinhood is saying, it's because of the way the speed of the transaction was coming in, blah blah.
But that's
blah,
not the
blah,
case.
blah. But
What do you think?
we don't know.
What
if
do you
that's the
think?
case or not? This was yesterday, bro. This is fresh. This was yesterday.
Oh my goodness. So what?
Oh, this is a developing
So where are we
narrative
at
right
now,
now.
man? Where are we at?
Okay, so now, Melvin Capital and Citron, they're out, right? They are out of the GameStop position anymore,
Yep.
right? They're not involved. But now it's just a matter of like, but then when you actually stop and look at it, if you're of the belief that this company was worth $3 last year, right? Wait, was worth $3 this time last year, and let me look up the price right now. Let me look up the stock price. If you believe it was worth $3 last time, so is it worth what it is worth now? Because right now people are just making a stand to say, hey, you guys can't keep gaming the system. You can't manipulate the market and then say we are manipulating the market because we've caught you guys and you guys are on the wrong end of this. Because as of now, GameStop is at $193.60.
Yo, listen, I am
Right?
tempted to short this stock, bro. Oh my gosh! But I mean, it's,
So-
this is
so
it.
if you-
This is
if
this is
you
a.
bought- if you
I
bought- if
think
you-
there are more implications here, man. There's more implications here. Wall Street is freaking out, dude, because they're like, okay, we're in a world now where people can talk to each other, right? And
Yeah.
people and people
people
can
can
mobilize a
mobilize.
lot quicker, right? So what does that mean?
Yeah. That's the question though.
What does this all mean?
That's the thing,
Because
like, what is-
you could mobilize a group of people and find a company that's shorting a stock and boost that stock, right? To to make money, but screw that company, right?
Yeah, you could actually. You could mobilize to do this. It's just I think GameStop was just a specific situation because the tagline for GameSpot, I keep putting GameStop is power to the players.
So this is a
So I
revolution.
think- Yes, I think there's an element. 2, they've got access to leverage. 3, it was just the right combination of factors, the right company. Because probably because the way they're characterizing these guys is if they're just gamers who stay at home, blah blah blah, weren't working because of COVID, this, and these people probably grew up buying games from GameStop,
yeah.
so that's why they're
Emotional
doing it.
and
But I actually think there's a level of sophistication here where people did publish their research, right? And if you look at the people who've now made money, who are buying GameSpot, okay, let's okay. Remember the Big
Yep.
Short?
the movie.
Remember the character?
Yeah.
The movie. Remember the character that was played by
Yes,
Christian
yes.
Bale, and his name is
Yes.
Michael Burry. He was buying GameSpot before any of this happened.
Oh, so he's made bank, man.
He's made bank because if you bought GameSpot, let's say you bought it
Yeah.
$8, which was $8, like in September
Yeah.
last year, you're up. If you held it until its all-time high, which was last week, which was like
Yeah.
2 days ago, you're up 4,000%.
That's ridiculous, man.
As of today, you're up 2,000%.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah.
Right? So there were actually some big time
That were in this.
investors that were in this because they also thought, hey, this company is being oversold. It's not worth nothing.
So they saw
Right.
the paper and they're like, nah, I'm in this now. Whew.
Yeah. So there's actually some people who, I mean, you wouldn't find a guy like Mike Blurry on a Reddit subthread, but there was the smart money, as they say, the professional money, who was along this stock already. So you can't just say because the information came from GameSpot, came from a Reddit subthread, it's rubbish. But anyway, that's what's happening now. That's the story.
And don't be so sure. Don't be so sure that he wasn't on Reddit. He could just be in an alias, right?
Huh? Oh yeah, he probably is. He could because he's on Twitter, and on Twitter he tweets all the time, bro. He tweets all the
Jeez,
time.
man.
But I was tweeting some, yeah.
All right, let's keep watching this story, man.
know,
Story time with
And
Ike. Yeah.
I'm watching it because some people are still holding on. Me, I'm following this closely. Anyway, so I think this might be actually. I think I'll post this video, this one, and our first video tomorrow, and the first pod together. This is something
It's
I think is
happening
very
now.
topical.
All right, you caught the latest news,
Yeah.
the latest stories with Ike.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will be a regular thing. I don't know if people like it or make it a regular thing. Anyway, it's almost okay. It's 11:30 here. I think you should go to. I should be getting.
All right,
to bed.
man.
All right, thanks for joining me, bro. Let me just plug the podcast before I.
I'll
Yes.
do it.
All right, people. That was a fun time. That was supposed to be 15 minutes. We went 45 minutes. So a bit too long. But anyway, let me know what you guys think of this random emergency pod story time, financial story time. Let me know if there's something you're interested in more, and I'll do more episodes of that. Anyway, I'm off. The podcast is out this week. But if you're listening to this, that means the podcast is out. So that's a redundant statement. Anyway, as usual, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't forget to call your moms. Until next time, bye.